Σήμερα θα δούμε τρομακτικά βίντεο. Αληθινά τρομακτικά βίντεο.
A Twitter user from Dallas reported that her doorbell
Λέγαμε
camera
για
had recorded a
backrooms σαν
suspicious
backrooms
man standing outside of her apartment almost every night for an entire month.
Ρε, είπε αυτό στεκόταν έξω από το σπίτι της κάθε βράδυ για έναν μήνα. Τι της πήρε ένα μήνα, γιατί της πήρε ένα μήνα να πάρει τηλέφωνο στην αστυνομία. Day one τι έκανε δηλαδή. Scare killer, hi.
According to her tweet, she had already reached out to the authorities, but they hadn't done enough to keep the man away.
Ωραία,
This
ρε.
is what her ring camera
Μπράβο αστυνομία,
captured.
μπράβο ρε. Ρε, τι λες. Χαμογελάει, τι κάνει. Επιτέλους θα χάσουμε τον ύπνο μας. Ρε, πόσο creepy
In
είναι
most of the
αυτό.
clips, the man can be seen standing eerily still outside of the woman's apartment, possibly waiting for her to come outside. At one point in the video, the man can be heard
Παριόχι, ρε, δεν
talking,
μας άσεσαι.
but his words are difficult to make out.
Ρε, τι.
It's unknown what he planned to do if the woman stepped out of her apartment, but judging by his behavior, it likely wasn't anything good. After the original upload, the disturbing video immediately went viral, with hundreds of
Παναγία μου, ρε.
2 days later, the woman posted an update on Twitter, in which she mentioned that her friends and family had confronted the man, and that security had been on the lookout for him. Many people who viewed the video urged the uploader not to let her guard down, and reminded her that the likelihood that the man would show up again was very high. But after the last tweet in December 2021, there haven't been any more updates, and the man's identity hasn't been publicly.
Θα φώναζε τον πατριό μου. Νομίζω. Αν δεν έκανε τίποτα η αστυνομία κιόλας, ναι. Και θα φώναζε βασικά τον πατριό μου και όλη μου την οικογένεια και θα τον δέρναμε οικογενειακά.
Revealed.
Κάτι τέτοιο. Δεν ξέρω.
This clip was captured in November 2019 in Harriet Creek Ranch, Texas.
Και θα μετακόμιζα.
It was later uploaded to TikTok and Facebook. The footage shows a little girl holding a flashlight and knocking on the door of an unoccupied house in the middle of the night.
Δεύτερη μικρή, ρε. Το παιδί, ρε! Κοιτάει πίσω, την κυνηγάει κάποιος. Ένα όπλο στο σπίτι είναι ασφάλεια, ειδικά στην Αμερική. Είναι μόνο στην Αμερική. Εδώ δεν είναι, γιατί εδώ αν σκοτώσεις αυτό που μπει στο σπίτι σου, που θα μπει στο σπίτι σου, πας εσύ
The girl
φυλακή.
is obviously scared, but because nobody else can be seen on the camera, it's hard to tell who or what she was running from. As she continues to knock and beg for help, she looks over her shoulder several times, but the footage ends abruptly,
Πείτε μου
leaving
απλά
many
ότι
questions
ήταν
unanswered.
καλά το κορίτσι.
Shortly
δεν έχει
after it was
τίποτα.
recorded, the video was made public, and police were notified of the incident. But from what I was able to find, the girl was never identified.
Να σου χτυπάει για
Some
βοήθεια και
think
ένα
that she was
σκάμ.
being used as bait to get the homeowners to open the door, and several people commented on Facebook and TikTok that they could clearly see a man hiding in the shadows behind the girl. But it was never confirmed whether that's what was happening or if the little girl was actually in danger and
Και εγώ είμαι
genuinely asking
στόκος,
for
η πρώτη
help.
αντίδραση μου ήταν να σκέφτηκα ότι θα έβγαινα, ξέρω εγώ, με κάτι εκεί πέρα, πόρα και θα με σκοτώνανε. Πρέπει να είμαι πιο ψεσμένη.
Is that the girl in the video might have been the same girl from a missing person case in South Dakota. In February 2019, a 9-year-old girl named Serenity Denard ran away from a youth home in Black Hills and was allegedly seen in Justin, Texas a few days before the video was recorded. The fact that the little girl knocked on the door of an unoccupied house shows that she clearly didn't live in the area. Otherwise, she would have known nobody was there, which makes this theory a possibility. Although there's definitely a resemblance between the girl in the video and Serenity, police didn't confirm whether the video and the missing person case were related. Unfortunately, not a lot of official information on this footage has been made public, and we'll likely never know what ended up happening to the little girl.
Πολύ ωραία.
In this disturbing ring camera footage from 2021, a woman in a hoodie can be seen approaching the front door of a house. Behind her, a man wearing a face mask and a lanyard stands on the steps as she rings the doorbell.
IRL χώρο, πάμε να τραβήξουμε vlog. Όχι. Δεν τα πιστεύω, τα φαντάζομαι και αυτά, αλλά δεν μπλέκω.
Doorbell cameras are meant for homeowners to see who's at their door and communicate with their visitors to decide whether or not it's a good idea to let them in. But in this case, the owner opens the door without hesitation.
Ρετζόρο, hello. Βλέπουμε τρομακτικά βίντεο. Σπούκα, σπούκα.
Hello, do y'all have a phone I can use? My car broke down, and y'all's the only one that got a light on.
We don't.
You don't?
Sorry.
Όπλο!
The woman tells him that her car broke down and asks if she can use his phone. The owner politely refuses, but as soon as he apologizes and closes the door, the man with the face mask tries to break into the house with a weapon in hand. Fortunately, the owner had locked the second door just in time. It's unknown if he called the police, but from what I could find, the identities of the man and woman haven't been revealed. What makes this footage even more chilling is the fact that there's a playground in the yard, which means the two had specifically targeted a house where they knew there would most likely be kids inside. Had the homeowner not reacted quickly, he and his family would have probably been the victims of an armed robbery or possibly much worse. In February 2020, an off-duty police officer received a message from his neighbor asking him to go check on his wife because somebody was trying to break into their house, and the woman was home alone. The man immediately walked across the street to his neighbor's house, but didn't see anything suspicious. When he came back, he saw that his neighbor had sent him this clip.
Για να μην φανεί στην κάμερα! Τι λες ρε! Τι λες!
The video shows a shirtless man crawling up the stairs to the front entrance of the house and attempting to open the door. Realizing it's locked, he walks back down the stairs and makes his way to the side of the house. After viewing the footage, the man immediately called 911, and 10 minutes later, 4 officers arrived in the neighborhood with a canine unit to help track down the intruder. What followed was an intense game of cat and mouse involving the neighbors, the police, and the shirtless man. Although he was spotted by the neighbors multiple times, he managed to slip away from the cops every single time. Several minutes into the search, the man heard his neighbor calling from across the street, saying that he could hear someone in his backyard. The two men scoured the outside of the house and eventually found that the back porch light had been unscrewed, but the shirtless man was nowhere to be seen. About an hour later, the man who uploaded the video walked down onto his back deck and spotted the intruder unscrewing another porch light, this time from the house across the street.
Τους έκλεινε τα φώτα, ρε, πόσο ανατριχιαστικό. Δηλαδή βγαίνει στην αυλή σου που θα έπρεπε να έχει φώτα και λες δεν έχει τίποτα και δεν το βλέπεις και...
intercepted the intruder and ordered him to get on the ground, but the shirtless man took off running and ended up sneaking into the crawl space of a nearby house. The uploader waited until the police arrived, and after he was ordered out of the crawl space, the intruder was charged with 2 counts of aggravated burglary, trespassing, public intoxication, and disorderly conduct. Police revealed that the subject was under the influence of hard drugs and had an outstanding warrant for failing to appear in court for another open case of burglary from earlier that same year. It's unclear if he was convicted of all the charges against him, but considering his criminal history, it's more than likely that he's still serving time today. This footage was captured at 4:30 a.m. on April 29, 2023. It happened in El Paso, Texas. The video shows a young woman running up to the front door of a...
Επίσης, είχα ακούσει, πού είχα αυτή τη πληροφορία, ήταν μια γυναίκα που έκλεβε πολλά σπίτια των Αντάλλου και έλεγε ότι αν έχεις πάρα πολλές κάμερες, αυτό σημαίνει ότι έχεις πράγματα μέσα που έχεις να... Ξέρω, έχεις ακριβά πράγματα μέσα, οπότε λέει σε αυτά τα σπίτια πηγαίναμε ή πήγαινα, δεν ξέρω αν πήγαινε μόνη της, κάτι τέτοιο έλεγε. Εντάξει, βέβαια, εγώ πιστεύω από την άλλη ότι τους περισσότερους όταν δουν ένα σπίτι με κάμερα και ένα σπίτι χωρίς κάμερα, θα πάνε σε αυτό που είναι χωρίς κάμερα. Πιστεύω, θέλω να πιστεύω, ξέρω κι εγώ. Η Αμερική είναι λίγο.
Although nobody else can be seen in the frame, terrified, she looks over her shoulder multiple times as if she was being followed.
Ρε, φαίνεται φοβισμένη αυτή στα αλήθεια, ρε. Και δεν φωνάζει, γιατί κάποιος είναι εκεί, δεν θέλει να την ακούσει. Καταλάβατε τι κάνει. Τι λες ρε η καημένη. Τι λες. Κόλπο, δεν νομίζω ότι είναι κόλπο αυτό.
Starts crying when nobody answers the door, and a few seconds later, a car's headlights come into view in the background. As soon as she sees the light, the woman crouches down behind a column, and she does the same thing again when she sees the neighbor's driveway lights turn on.
Σου έχω κάνει διάρρηξη, Σλέβη, ρε.
After a few minutes of waiting, a car's headlights illuminate the driveway, and the woman walks down the steps towards it. It's possible that she got in the car, but this wasn't caught on the Ring camera. As soon as the footage was made public, many people started speculating that the woman might have been the victim of trafficking and was trying to escape her captors, but others believe that she had a totally different motive. Several viewers mentioned that if she really had been in danger, she wouldn't have hid from the neighbors when she saw their driveway lights turn on. Another thing that caught viewers' attention is the fact that at the very beginning of the video, the woman isn't actually running. She appears to be casually walking up the steps, and she only begins to run when she comes into view of the doorbell camera, which suggests that the whole thing might have been a robbery setup. Less than a month after the footage was uploaded, El Paso police arrested 34-year-old Krista Nicole Cordeau for burglary.
Scary killer. Πόσο δίκιο είχες. Εγώ θα με είχαν σκοτώσει και θα με είχαν κλέψει δηλαδή. Γιατί μου φάνηκε ότι όντως χρειαζόταν βοήθεια και μου φάνηκε όντως φοβισμένη.
After her mugshot was released, some people believed that it was the same woman from the video due to the resemblance, but police never officially confirmed this. It's unclear if she was ever seen again.
Ορίστε.
In 2022, a Reddit user uploaded this disturbing Ring camera footage with the caption, "Zombies want your brain." The video shows a young man in a bandana covered in what appears to be dirt or blood, repeatedly slamming himself into the front door of a house.
Επίσης, αν έχεις κάμερα, μπορείς να έχεις μια καλύτερη κάμερα να καταλαβαίνουμε αν είναι χώματα ή αίμα. Θα είναι πιο παλιά.
After the impact, the man collapses over the front porch railing, knocking over an ornament in the process.
Το κεφάλι το καλά θα έχει πάρει ό,τι παίρνετε. Τελείωσε. Αυτός θα έχει πάρει όλα. Όλα. Απ' όλα πήρε. Ένα απ' όλα. Ένα απ' όλα πήρε. Αυτός δεν είναι. Ένα απ' όλα.
He groans in pain as he flails his arms and raises his legs, seemingly trying to get back on his feet. But the video ends before we can see what happened next. After the footage was uploaded, many viewers commented that the man was probably under the influence of hard drugs, which would explain his uncoordinated movements and violent behavior. Other users suggest that he might have had a seizure after hitting his head on the door. But because the video was uploaded with no context or explanation, it's impossible to confirm what actually happened. After that night, the homeowner never saw the man again.
Φαντάσου να έχεις πάρει τα πάντα, να πήγες να χτυπιές στο σπίτι της κοπέλας που δεν σε θέλει και το πρωί να καταλάβεις ότι χτύπαγες του γείτονα. Καλά, σίγουρα θα έχουν γίνει τέτοια περιστατικά, σίγουρα.
On July 24th, 2021, a woman named Caitlin Curtis took her baby to the park across the street from her house in Arizona. After sitting down on the bench next to a fountain, a scruffy-looking man suddenly approached her, sat on the bench next to her, and asked her if she wanted to buy his drawings. According to Caitlin, the drawings looked like they had been drawn by a little kid, or by someone with no artistic talent. After politely refusing to buy the drawings, she got up and left the park with her baby in the stroller. As she was leaving, she saw the man get into the passenger seat of a suspicious-looking truck at the other end of the park, which then circled around her several times as she made her way back home. Afraid that she was being followed, Caitlin took a different route back to her house and entered through the back door so that the men in the truck wouldn't know where she lived. 3 days later, when Caitlin was out of town, her doorbell camera captured the same man walking up to the front door of her house and ringing the doorbell at 3 in the morning.
Πού είναι? Τρεις τα μεσάνυχτα. Θέλω να τους δείρω. Θέλω να τους σαπίσω, να τους χτυπήσω. Θέλω να μπορούσα να τους... Α, και αυτός έχει πάρει ό,τι παίρνετε. Και αυτός δεν είναι καλά.
According to Caitlin, her husband was asleep while the whole thing was happening, and he didn't learn about the man's visit until the next day. After the video was uploaded to TikTok, some users commented that the fact that the man rang her doorbell specifically was not a coincidence, and that he might have been watching her from the day they met in the park. It's possible that he was using the drawings to try and distract her while the other man in the truck abducted her child, but we'll likely never know his intentions for sure. The incident could just be written off as a man who was under the influence of drugs or suffering from mental illness, but if Caitlin hadn't been careful, it's anyone's guess what might have happened. Fortunately, the man never came back, and neither Caitlin nor her family had seen him again. In October 2021, Reddit user Protomancer uploaded this footage of a man crawling and slithering through his neighbor's yard in the middle of the night.
Κάποιος μπουσουλάει. Μπουσουλάει σέρνει γιατί δεν μπορεί να περπατήσει.
There doesn't appear to be any context surrounding the video, but most users attributed the man's particular behavior to drug use or possibly mental illness. Even though he isn't hurting anybody, this is probably not the type of person you would want to run into on your way back from home in the middle of the night. The man in the footage hasn't been identified, and it's unclear if he ever showed up again. At around 11 p.m. on December 6, 2016, a man named Julio Perez went with his friend to a convenience store a couple of blocks away from his house. According to what he shared online 2 days after, his friend had been afraid to go by herself because the store parking lot was known to be unsafe after dark. After spending some time at the store and buying dinner at Carl's Jr., Julio said bye to his friend and pulled out of the parking lot. But just a few seconds later, a red car can be seen pulling out of the same parking lot and starting to follow him on his way home. Disturbingly, as soon as Julio arrives at the stop sign, the red Chrysler can be seen pulling up right in front of him and blocking his path.
So, hit me up tomorrow then. Later.
Άμα στρώνονταν επειδή δεν μπορούσε να περπατήσει, θα έκανε διάλειμμα να ξεκουραστεί. Τραστ! Σλέβδι. Τι ιστορία έχεις να μας πεις? Γι' αυτό πρέπει όλα τα παιδιά στο σχολείο από μικρή ηλικία να μαθαίνουν αυτοάμυνα, πολεμικές τέχνες και τέτοια. Προφανώς θα έκανε όπιση, τι περίμενε ο άλλος.
Given the circumstances, Julio reacted much quicker than most people would. As soon as he saw someone about to get out of the red car, he put the car in reverse and skillfully backed away. Unfortunately for him, the driver of the red car refused to give up so easily and continued to follow closely.
Που και συνεχίζει τον ακολουθεί ρε, δεν τα παρατάει. Οδηγάς και πας σε αστυνομικό τμήμα. Και κάθε από έξω κουκουράει πιπ μέχρι να βγουνε. Ρε δεν σταματάει, όπου πάει πάει.
At one point during the chase, the attackers throw an unidentified object at Julio's car in an effort to get him to stop. This is when he decides to call 911 for help.
911. Hey, man.
911 emergency.
Hey, there's a car following me. He's throwing at me. I'm on Lomas going eastbound, and he's I don't know what he's doing, man.
Hey, Lomas, and what's the closest cross street to
Right
you?
now, San Pedro. It's a red light. Holy I mean, they're I don't know what they're trying to do, man. Oh my God, man.
Do you see what it looks like?
It's a red Chrysler 300.
Πινακίδες, ναι, πινακίδες. Σωστά, αυτό θα πρέπει να κάνει.
Are they still throwing things?
They're just right behind me. I don't know what they're doing, man.
Although the 911 operator was probably dispatching units as they spoke, it would have probably taken the officers at least a few minutes to
Ούτε
arrive,
πινακίδες δεν
which would have been
φαίνονται, ναι.
extremely dangerous for Julio.
Αυτό όλες οι
Luckily, as
κάμερες,
he's
αλλά
on
είναι
the
πιο
phone with the
παλιές.
dispatcher, he spots a
Κάνε πιο
cop
παλιά
car stopped
βίντεο.
at a traffic light and pleads for help.
They're right behind me. I don't know what the hell is going on. Oh, there's a cop right next to me. This guy right behind me. Hold on. Hey, this guy
Are
right
you
here.
still there?
Right here.
Πιάστε τον! Ναι!
Holy.
Πιάστε τον! Σταματήστε τον!
With you?
No, he just went on a high-speed car chase. Holy cow.
Έτσι.
Hang on with me. Hang on.
I'm with the. I just followed a police officer right now. I'm not sure what the hell just happened, man.
Στην Ελλάδα θα έκανε μια μισή ώρα να έρθει η αστυνομία. Ναι, αν ερχόταν κιόλας. Αν αποφάσισε.
I was gonna go get some food right there on Central, and then all of a sudden this car just pulled up right in front of me. I thought they were gonna carjack me or something.
Αν ερχόταν, ναι, ναι,
And
ναι.
they told me to get out. I
Αυτό.
put it in reverse, and I just got the hell up out of there and went down towards San Pedro and Central.
Did you get a plate number? I wasn't able to.
Έχουμε μπει για τα καλά σε μου του χαλάκι με τον. Ναι!
I got it on camera though, bro.
Do you have it on camera?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the suspect managed to get away from the officer during the high-speed chase, and it was never confirmed what his intentions were that night. But judging by his behavior, it's more than likely that this was an attempted carjacking. Had the officer not been at the right place at the right time, Julio would have had to stop at the red light alone, where he would have been at the mercy of the attacker. Because neither the cop nor Julio could get the red Chrysler's license plate, the Albuquerque Police Department couldn't pursue the matter any further, meaning that the suspect
Καλά ρε,
probably
η
continued
αστυνομία
preying on
δεν
other
είχε μια
victims on the
κάμερα
road.
καλή κάτι να δούνε τις πινακίδες.
This footage was captured on a random road on the outskirts of Warsaw, Poland on March 30th, 2014. Inside the vehicle is a man and his daughter.
Πάρε.
The road is pretty poorly lit, and even with headlights on, the driver probably can't see more than
Σάββατο βράδυ σε διάρκεια μου ήρθαν μετά από 75 λεπτά. Ο ένας είχε πιει μπύρες σε σπίτι που ξέρω που είχαν κάνει διάρκεια στον άλλο. Ήρθε η αστυνομία μετά από μία ώρα. Δηλαδή δεν ξέρω αν ήταν μετά από μία ώρα γιατί πήγανε σε μια δίπλα ταβέρνα, ξέρω εγώ τι ήταν που είναι δίπλα από το σπίτι τους και φάγανε, φαντάσου, μέχρι να έρθει η αστυνομία είχαν φάει κιόλας. Και τους λένε είναι πάνω. Και λένε πού να ξέρουμε αν είναι πάνω. Δηλαδή φοβόντουσαν να ανέβουν, είναι πάνω.
20 or 30 feet in front of him. A few seconds into the video, a car traveling in the opposite direction flashes its headlights at the driver in what appears to be a warning. Unfortunately, the driver doesn't have enough time to react, and this is where things take a pretty dark turn. After swerving to avoid the man
Τι έγινε,
standing in the
έναν
middle of the road,
άνθρωπο!
the driver attempts to correct the vehicle's path. However, this is much easier said than done in the heat of the moment. Unable to control the car, the father and daughter fly off the road and come to a rest in a ditch. Although it appears that the man had his back turned to the car at the moment of the incident, there's still no reason to be standing in the middle of a pitch-black road while there are cars passing by.
Μου είναι τόσο τρομακτικό αυτό, γιατί πάντα όταν πάμε χωριό, εμείς πάμε βράδυ, πάμε αργά, για να μην έχει κίνηση, για να μην έχει κάποιον βλάκα που πάει πολύ αργά ή θέλει να σε προσπεράσει και είναι κολλημένος από πίσω και είναι τα φώτα και σε τυφλώνουν και πάμε πάντα αργά, γιατί είναι Για μένα, όταν δεν έχει άλλα αυτοκίνητα τριγύρω, έχει μεγαλύτερη ασφάλεια. Αλλά φαντάσου να σου τύχει κάτι τέτοιο. Πότε βράδυ στο χωριό. Κοίτα, τώρα το χωριό είναι 1 ώρα απόσταση. Άντε 1,5 ανάλογα πώς πας. Οπότε πάμε πάντα βράδυ. Ναι.
Given the man's irrational behavior,
Skype
it's
and
possible
Netflix
that he was
εκπομπές.
either under the
Εγώ
influence of
έβλεπα,
something
πάντα μ'
or
αρέσουν αυτές οι
attempting to
εκπομπές.
take his own life. But because the man immediately fled the scene, his true intentions that night are anyone's guess. According to the driver, he and his daughter both sustained minor injuries, and the police were never able to find the mysterious man. In 2018, Lauren and Brian Swenson were in the process of opening a CrossFit gym in Nairobi, Kenya with 2 local trainers. One day, the Utah couple were on their way to do some filming with their trainers to promote their gym when they suddenly came across a traffic jam on the main road.
Ορίστε τι, λέει πριν 10-15 χρόνια είχα πάει βόλτα και όταν γύρισα σπίτι είδα σπασμένο τζάμι. Κάποιος προσπάθησε να μπει, πήρε τηλέφωνο αστυνομία και ήρθα μετά από 1 ώρα, βαρέθηκα να περιμένω και τελικά οι μπάτσοι με βρήκαν μέσα να παίζω κόντ. Μετά από 1 ώρα τι να σε κάνω. Δηλαδή και να έχει φύγει ο άλλος, δεν μπορείς να τον βρεις να ψάξεις, ξέρω εγώ, την γειτονιά. Μετά από 1 ώρα έχει φτάσει στο χωριό. Καταλάβατε. Μετά από 1 ώρα.
Soon after taking a detour on a dirt road, the Swensons and the trainers passed 2 officers on foot with weapons who gestured for the couple to give them a ride. For reasons they didn't disclose, they chose not to pick up the officers and continued driving until they came across a white public transport vehicle stopped in the middle of the road. Although the couple didn't notice at the time, the driver of the white van tried to warn them with his headlights, but they missed the signal. This is where things get disturbing.
I'd rather assume they do and not. Yeah. Drive forward. Cross. Yep, drive forward. Drive forward.
Ο άλλος είναι με το τέτοιο ρε, με το μαχαίρι το... Μασέτα, πώς το έχουμε πει. Ρε, εκεί είναι και ο δρόμος αυτός, εκεί πέρα δεν μπορείς να πας γρήγορα.
Just as they pass the van, 3 men armed with machetes appear from behind the vehicle and charge at the Swenson's car. Reacting quickly to the situation, the driver immediately shifts the vehicle into reverse to gain some distance. As the men get closer, one of the trainers instructs Brian to drive forward, and as he does, one of the attackers tries to reach through the window with his machete. In a Facebook post she shared after the incident, Lauren mentioned that when they first saw the bandits, Brian's window was only partially up, and that he sped back in reverse to buy some time to roll it up. When the bandits attacked the car, the window was cracked a couple of inches, but luckily it wasn't enough for the machete to fit through. As Brian speeds away on the dirt road, one of the trainers mentions that he could see cops arriving at the scene.
Εμένα πέρσι μπήκαν 8 άτομα. Πήρε τηλέφωνο ότι μπήκαν στο εργοστάσιο και ήρθαν μετά από 2 ώρες και 17 λεπτά. Νομίζω 8 άτομα στο σπίτι σου πάρει και τρελάθηκα. Τρελάθηκα για μια στιγμή.
Alarmingly, a shot could be heard behind the vehicle, presumably from the confrontation between the cops and the men with machetes. In her Facebook post, Lauren mentioned that if she had picked up the officers or even let them ride on the side rails as they went up the road, they would have likely opened fire on the bandits. Luckily, the Swensons and the trainers were able to ride away safely, but it was not confirmed if anyone was hurt after the encounter. This clip was captured in Chile on February 26, 2022, and later uploaded to Reddit. In the footage that was captured by the driver's dash cam, the white car in front can be seen braking more than is necessary and moving a little suspiciously down the road that leads up to a tunnel. The driver with the dash cam keeps his distance as the white car comes to a complete stop, and this is where things get interesting.
Α, καλά. Έχουμε δει έναν τέτοιο. Ένας ήταν φοβερός και οδήγησε και του έσπρωξε, πήρε και το άλλο αμάξι μαζί. Τους πήρε το αμάξι. Ωραίος! Ωραίος! Αυτοί μ' αρέσουνε. Αυτοί οι τύποι μ' αρέσουνε. Έτσι. Αυτοί οι τύποι μ' αρέσουνε. Έτσι ρε. Και πήγαινε να τους πατήσει. Γιατί είναι δικός μας. Πήγαινε να τους πατήσει, δεν με νοιάζει. Πάω εγώ, σας πατήσω. Άντε, γεια. Μ' αρέσει.
The attackers have just enough time to move out of the way as the driver rams into the white car and takes off the door as he speeds away.
Πάρη, εννοείται θα πας να κρυφτείς. Εννοείται θα πας να κρυφτείς. Δηλαδή, τι θα κάνεις, θα σκοτώσουν, δεν μπλέκεις. Αυτό είναι δουλειά της αστυνομίας μετά να έρθει. Αλλά αυτοί ήρθαν μετά από 2 ώρες και 17 λεπτά.
is the fact that the man remained incredibly calm throughout the attempted carjacking. His awareness of the situation and quick thinking ultimately kept him out of harm's way, and based on his behavior, it's very likely that this isn't the first time something like this
Αυτός είναι
happened
μεγάλος
to him.
παίκτης. Αυτός τον
This seems to be
χάρηκα.
echoed by the
Αυτός ναι.
description that was uploaded to Reddit by the
Πήγε
user who
κανένα τους
posted the
πατήσει, λέει,
video.
δεν με νοιάζει
The
τίποτα.
caption read, "To give more context, this happened in Chile. I wasn't driving, but I often use that route. Here, this type of carjacking has become so common that it's a risk to get out of the car after 10 p.m., and all drivers have learned to keep their distance from the front cars on exits." There's not a lot of information on this incident online, and it was never confirmed if the carjackers were caught by police or not. On the evening of Sunday, April 14th, 2019, a power line came down at the intersection of Route 70 and Colonial Drive in Manchester County, New Jersey, in the middle of a thunderstorm. The wire ended up falling and getting stuck on a traffic light, and in the early morning hours of Monday, April 15th, an employee with Jersey Central Power and Light went to untangle the wires. Sergeant Hemhauser from the Manchester Township Police Department was parked at the intersection, thanks to which the incident was captured on the dash cam of his patrol car. In the footage, the worker can be seen untangling the wire and pulling at it in an attempt to get it unstuck. Of course, for this to be safe, the power line would have to be de-energized, especially if the ground was still wet. In a later interview, Sergeant Hemhauser claimed that he was under the impression that the power line had been previously de-energized, and it seems as if the worker thought the same thing. But just a few seconds into the video, the worker gets the scare of a lifetime when the power line touches the ground.
Δεν τον βλέπω καλά αυτόν, ρε. Καλά, άγιο είχε.
As soon as the wire makes contact with the wet road, it bursts into flames. The worker can be seen immediately dropping the wire and leaping back in surprise, obviously not expecting the power line to be
Έλα, πολύ
live.
τυχερός.
After the initial shock, the utility worker takes off running and makes his way to safety. According to Sergeant Hemhauser, the flames were so hot that they burned holes in the asphalt on the street. After the incident was reported, Jersey Central Power and Light immediately launched an investigation to determine why the power line was even live in the first place if a utility worker had been given the green light to fix it. Although the exact cause of the incident was never publicly revealed, no further incidents have been reported in the area. This dashcam footage was captured on March 1st, 2013 in Bashkira, a republic of Russia that sits between Volga and the Ural Mountains in Eastern Europe. In the video, a tornado can be seen quickly approaching the vehicle and the adjacent
Φοβάμαι
house.
τόσο πολύ τους
What follows
ανεμοστρόβιλους.
is a
Χαίρομαι πάρα
shocking
πολύ που δεν
display of
έχουμε
the
εδώ.
sheer force of nature as the 130 mile/hour winds wreak havoc on the house and its surroundings.
Χάσαμε τους ούντεν φορούς. Ναι, αλλά... Ξέρω εγώ, εμένα μου φάνηκε εκεί και πάλι θα... Δεν ξέρω βασικά. Και πάλι ότι δεν θα την έβγαζε καθαρή. Με την φωτιά, με το όλο αυτό που έγινε. Η κάμερα αυτή, τι μοντέλο είναι, γιατί δεν τη γίνεται και η κάμερα είναι...
At first, only the tree and some tarp that was flying on the ground can be seen moving in the wind. But just a few seconds later, the roof is ripped off the house, the vehicle is thrust forward, and debris starts flying everywhere as the tornado rages on. When the video was originally uploaded to Reddit in 2014, the user who posted it didn't include any context surrounding the incident. We can only hope that there was no one in the house when the tornado struck, but we'll likely never know if that was the case.
Βέβαια και εκεί τα σπίτια, γιατί τα κάνουν έτσι τόσο... Λες και τα κάνουν από χαρτί είναι. Άμα τα κάνανε όπως τα κάνουμε εμείς στα σπίτια, από τούβλα, ξέρω εγώ τι βάζουμε, από σπίτια κανονικά, δεν θα τα έπαιρνε ο αέρας, έτσι δεν είναι. Λέω εγώ τώρα. Δεν ξέρω, κανένας αρχιτέκτονας στο chat. Αφού τα σπίτια τους είναι λες και τα έχουν κάνει 3 κουρουνάκια. Ναι, γιατί τα κάνουν έτσι, γιατί είναι χάρτινα τα σπίτια τους.
This video was recorded in Tartu, Estonia, and uploaded to YouTube in August of 2016. In it, a group of 4 teenagers visit an abandoned sauna that was built more than a century ago in 1915, back when Estonia was still part of the Russian Empire. After fulfilling its purpose for 80 years, the sauna was decommissioned in 1995. The building remained abandoned for 23 years until in 2018
στο
it was fully
Netflix
renovated
series με
and
αυτό,
turned
θα το
into
δω.
a beauty salon, which is still operating as of this video's upload in 2023. In August of
Dark Pinocchio,
2016,
hi!
the uploader visited the
Hello.
abandoned location with 3 friends.
Πώς είσαι, όλα καλά λανθυρά,
Upon
εσύ.
entering the building,
Εσύ
you
πώς
can see
είσαι.
that it looks exactly what you would expect a building that's been abandoned for 21
Καλά,
years to
αυτό το
look
κτίριο
like.
είναι από Amica
There's an
Games.
insane
Έχουμε
amount
παίξει
of
horror
mold
game
growing
εκεί.
freely on the walls.
Ξεκάθαρα.
The heaters are covered in a thick layer of rust. The floor is full of holes, and the entire structure looks like it could collapse at any second. Throughout the video, the teenage explorers also run into some disturbing messages on the walls. An especially eerie one reads, "You can't hide," and there are also several creepy drawings of stick figures graffitied on the walls in some of the other rooms. For the first few minutes of the visit, other than the disturbing messages and some loose shoes and
Τι είναι
other
τούτο, αυτό
personal
είναι
belongings, there
Amica
doesn't seem to
Games,
be
έχουμε
any
παίξει
indication
horror
that
εκεί,
somebody could
στάνταρ,
be
δες.
living there or had even
Έχουμε
visited the
παίξει.
location
Και το
recently.
τελευταίο τους εκεί έχει
However, about 20
γυριστεί.
minutes into the visit, one of the teenagers finds a door frame covered by a curtain, and they decide to explore the room.
Είπε, έλα ψηλέ, του είπε. Ωραία, τώρα αυτό είναι
As one
πολύ
of the explorers shines
καλογυρισμένο.
a flashlight into the room, a
Είναι αληθινό.
gut-wrenching scream can be heard coming from the shadows. Immediately, the 4 teenagers run out of the building in a panic. When they finally step outside, the sun is already set, and the boys get into the car to flee from the location.
Ναι,
Although the
είναι
explorer was too
αληθινό
busy
ή
running
πολύ
to show
καλό.
footage of the
Αυτό
screaming man, it's more than likely that it was a homeless resident of the abandoned building who wasn't expecting visitors. Still, it must have been extremely disturbing to experience something like that, even if they went together as a group. After that day in 2016, the boys never went back to the abandoned sauna again. In central Ontario, Canada, there's a small community south of Port Elgin known as North Bruce. To the locals, however, it's known as the Devil's Elbow. According to John, the urban explorer who uploaded this video, the reason for the name was that there was once an occult high priest who lived in the mansion at a cul-de-sac, in which the townspeople used to think there was paranormal activity due to the occult rituals the priest used to perform in his home. The mansion has since been abandoned, and as of today, nobody wants to buy it or live in it due to its chilling atmosphere and sketchy past. According to John, some renovations have been made sporadically since the house was vacated, but as of the video's upload, the house was still abandoned. In 2019, John set out to explore the occult mansion alone at night, but things didn't go exactly as he planned. In comparison to other abandoned buildings, the mansion seems to be in relatively good shape, except for the garage, which has clearly seen better days. About 5 minutes into the exploration, John starts to hear strange noises upstairs, but they seem to quiet down as soon as he climbs the
περιποιημένος ήταν
stairs.
αυτός. Έστω, αφού μένεις που μένεις εκεί, φτιάξου το ωραίο.
I've been hearing stuff upstairs, but I'm hoping, and I mean this, I really hope that it's
Συνήθισα οι
paranormal.
πρώτες μέρες ήταν free και βλέπει το stream εδώ ο Μπάρης και λέει υπάρχουν και χειρότερα. Δες τη μέση από το σπίτι σου φοβάται περισσότερο, οπότε του δίνω θάρρος και συνεχίζει την δουλειά security.
My keys are making noises. Freaking somebody down there, dude.
Αν θες full τρομακτικό βίντεο ένας
Come
Ρος
on,
που κάνει
quit
ghost
messing with me. I'm
hunting.
just trying to freaking. I'll
Τον
leave.
Μορόζο.
There's somebody else in here.
Πού να το γράψεις τώρα
Now that
αυτό.
I've got myself in a bad situation. Oh, jeez.
Disturbingly, as he walks around upstairs, the noises can be heard
Έχει
again,
άθλους λίγους
even louder
πόντους.
this time, leading John to think that perhaps someone else is in there messing with him. Although he mentions loudly to whoever is in there with him that
Σαν
his
τώρα
only
στην πάνη θα
intention
ναι,
is
αλλά
to
είναι
explore
επικίνδυνο,
and
δεν
that he
πάω
doesn't want to
εκεί.
bother anyone,
Ναι.
whoever was making the noise doesn't respond and continues hiding. The noises stop for a couple minutes, but then something terrifying happens.
Let's pull it off. Oh my god.
Είναι πιο πολύ με το σπίτι του Βυζάζ μοιάζει. Αυτό ναι.
Is there somebody here?
Βυζάζε. Αυτό το σπίτι έχει και ρεύμα και απ' όλα.
I'm
Δεν
not here
άκουσα
to
όλη την
bother or
ιστορία.
rob anything. I was just here exploring. I thought it was a bad.
Ω Θεέ μου!
Disturbingly, a man's voice can be heard screaming, "I'm gonna
Αυτό
kill
ήταν
you." And before catching a
freaky.
glimpse of who it is, John runs out of the mansion immediately and doesn't look back until he's a safe distance away from the building. It's unknown who was in the house or how long they had been watching him, or even if they had bad intentions or were just messing with him. According to several viewers, it's very unlikely that the other person in the house was another explorer. In the urban exploration community,
Μάλλον
people
άστρος
usually
που
help each
έμενε
other
εκεί και θέλει να
out,
τον
and
κάνει
there's
να
a sort
φύγει.
of code that every explorer sticks to in order to help keep creepy locations as safe to visit as possible. If the other person in the house was another explorer, making noises in an abandoned house and screaming, "I'm going to kill you," would obviously be very out of the ordinary. That leaves the question of who could have screamed at John. It's more than likely that it was just a homeless person who didn't want any visitors. But because John ran out before he could see anyone, this much will probably remain unknown forever. In 2021, YouTuber Matt Field spent the night in a dark cave in the middle of nowhere in Australia after his friend told him about an unsettling experience he had in that cave and dared him to spend the night there alone. Matt's channel is a bit more extreme than other outdoor exploration channels, and his videos often feature him leaving civilization behind and going to remote locations for days, living only off the fish he catches and the animals he hunts. In the video, he mentions that he didn't bring any water to the trip, hoping to find water to drink in the cave. After about 4 hours of walking, he finally finds the cave and climbs down the man-made ladder inside. Venturing deeper inside the cave, Matt crawls into the different holes he finds to see if any of them lead anywhere. Around this time, he started hearing a couple of rocks falling near the entrance, and the sound of some sort of animal walking around. At one point in the video, he mentions he feels like he's being watched, and things get a little more disturbing at around 11 p.m. when he begins to eat his baked beans for dinner.
That is beautiful. Baked beans in a haunted cave. Oh my god.
Βλάκα, πού έχεις μπει, πώς θα βγεις από εκεί? Δεν θα σε βρει κανείς. Τι κάνουνε ρε? Αυτοί που πάνε σε σπηλιές, νομίζω δεν υπάρχουν πιο τρελοί άνθρωποι για μένα από αυτούς που πάνε σε σπηλιές σε τέτοιες και πάνε και μόνοι τους, σε στενές και χώνονται και μπουσουλάνε. Δεν τους καταλαβαίνω. Δεν καταλαβαίνω τι σου έχει συμβεί στη ζωή σου για να έχεις την ανάγκη να θες, θα πάω σε σπηλιά, να συρθώ εκεί πέρα, να στριμωχθώ, να περάσω σε τέτοιο μέρος. Όχι σπηλιά μεγάλη που πας. Δεν καταλαβαίνω τίποτα ρε. Δεν τους καταλαβαίνω τους ανθρώπους.
I got full goosebumps. It's the chains moving when I climb down the ladder.
Ένα φίδι να έβγαινε. Βρε μια ράχνη να έβγαινε εκεί πέρα, εγώ θα άξερα τι να κάνω.
It's a big.
Πώς έχουν κολλήσει, έχουν πεθάνει εκεί. Ναι!
Wind can't move that.
Κλειστοφοβία full σε ένα τέτοιο μέρος. Που δεν νομίζω ότι έχω, αλλά στη σπηλιά αποκτάς.
And the fact that the chain is moving can only mean that there's someone or something down there with him.
That chain moved just then. It is 100% now. I heard it before.
Ανακλείνει το πλανήτη να μου λείπει.
The chain that I walked in, that you climbed down into this cave on, it's moving. Now, you can't move that chain with wind. It's way too heavy. There is no wind coming in here. There's no wind even forecast. Holy.
Ρε, του τραβάνε τη σκάλα του και δεν θα μπορεί να ανέβει.
Oh God. Look. You must have heard that just then.
Γιατί είσαι τόσο ψύχρεμος, μπορείς να πανικοβληθείς λιγουλάκι? Τι να δούμε στο χέρι σου και εσύ, look at my arms λέει. Να δούμε ότι ανατρίχεσαι, πού να το δούμε ρε μέσα στη σπηλιά?
Okay. Well, I've got my backpack back on.
Μόλις μου χτύπησε κάποιος στο πατζούρι. Δεν ήθελα να το είχα δει αυτό.
It's not normal. It's definitely not a normal sound, and I'm scared. I'm not gonna lie. It's probably about 2 hours.
Όντως οι σπηλιές είναι επικίνδυνες και ακόμη πιο επικίνδυνες οι υποβρύχες σπηλιές. Ρε, έχω δει βίντεο που έχουν πεθάνει άτομα.
I'm getting out of here.
After the creepy noises subside, he changes his mind about leaving the cave and decides to spend the rest of the night near the entrance.
Τι στο καλό.
A couple of hours later, he reported hearing hissing sounds that sounded like human voices, but after walking around the cave, he couldn't find anything that could be making those noises. Aside from big animals, the worst thing that is to have come across a hostile squatter living in the cave, although it's unclear why anyone would want to live down there. Fortunately, he made his way out of the cave safely as soon as the sun rose, and never went back to that cave again.
Νόμιζα κάτι άλλο. Και ήρθα να δω τι γίνεται εδώ μέσα. Hello.
Rody is a channel dedicated to off-the-grid living, in which the uploader usually posts videos about what life is like living out of his truck and traveling around the country. The videos are usually pretty cool, with an emphasis on the beauty of nature and independent living. But this particular video is a bit more disturbing than the rest. In December 2017, Rody uploaded footage of an incident that took place earlier that year while he was car camping in a parking lot. At around 1:30 a.m., a hooded man started walking around his truck and taking pictures of his license plates. Because the back of the truck where the uploader was sleeping was pretty much pitch black, the man probably didn't see anyone in there and continued to suspiciously walk around the truck for several minutes, unaware that he was being recorded. After a while, the man makes his way to the side of the truck and tries to shine the flashlight inside, which is when the uploader decides to take action to protect himself and let the man know he's there. Immediately after, the uploader bangs his fist on the
Ξέρετε τι μου
inside of the
θύμισε
truck.
αυτό? Ήταν ο πατριός μου στο μπαλκόνι και κάπνιζε. Κάπνιζε ή τότε είχε σταματήσει το κάψα. Τέλος πάντων, δεν έχει σημασία τι έκανε στο μπαλκόνι. Ήταν στο μπαλκόνι. Και ήταν ένας τύπος που πήγε στην ιστού της πολυκατοικίας και κοίταγε τα κουδούνια και μετά βγήκε, ήταν ένα δρόμος μπροστά, και πήγε από το πάρκινγκ. Όχι, πρώτα πήγε στο πάρκινγκ και μετά πήγε στην είσοδο με τα κουδούνια και λέει ο πατριός μου, φωνάζει μετά, «Νανά!» Η Νανά είναι τη μαμά μου, λέει, «Φέρε μου το όπλο!» Και λέει αυτός, «Όχι, όχι, όχι! Περιμένω την Μαρία και έχει αργήσει να κατέβει». Μαρία δεν υπάρχει στην πολυκατοικία εντωμεταξύ, δεν υπάρχει κάποια με το όνομα Μαρία. Και μάλλον έψαχνε να μπει ή να κλέψει. Αυτό. Και έφυγε μετά, γρήγορα.
The suspicious man runs away. It's unclear what exactly he was trying to do, but based on his behavior, it couldn't have been anything good, and he was probably planning a carjacking. Fortunately, the uploader was able to get away safely and spend the night elsewhere.
Να ξέρεις. Λέγοντας αυτό, ξέχασα να πω ότι μην νομίζεις ότι δεν παρατήρησα το jumpscare που πέταξες στο starting soon. Να ξέρεις, δεν τρόμαξα έτσι για να απογοητευτείς. Πάντα δεκακές σου.
Gary and Amica are a father-daughter duo from Scotland who make videos about their travels around Europe in their
Τι ωραίο
camper.
μέρος είναι αυτό.
The videos are usually pretty wholesome and entertaining, but in this particular video, Gary and Amica had a pretty disturbing
Με το
encounter.
σκουφάκι μου.
This footage was uploaded in March of
κασκό και
2023
γάντια.
during a trip to
Έλα,
Tensmere
ρε.
Forest in North Fife, Scotland.
Θέλω να πάω
As they were
εκεί.
walking through the woods, Amica told her dad she heard voices somewhere near them, and after searching for a while, this is what they found.
Μου βάζει πίσω.
We just stopped and had a look in these woods. Look at how scary that is. Put the torch
Τι
on.
είναι αυτό, ρε. Άκυρο ότι είπα δεν θέλω να πάω εκεί.
Falling over. Look at the one on the ladders going up the tree.
Ναι, όχι.
Like
Άκυρο.
the washing line over there to the left.
Δεν θέλω να πάω.
Keep it there. That is weird, isn't it?
In addition to dozens of creepy mannequins dressed up in costumes, they came across some
Υπάρχει και
pretty
ένα μέρος με
unsettling
κούκλες.
paintings hanging outside the little cabin in the middle of the woods. I did some research and found several other channels that featured the strange cabin, but the only information I could find was that the mannequins and paintings were probably set up there at some point in 2021.
Τι είναι
It's
αυτό,
unknown
ρε.
what exactly the purpose of all this
Γιατί?
is, but whoever set it
Είστε
up
υπέρ
clearly
του
went
να
through a
μην
lot of
μπορούν να
trouble to
μπουν
make it
στην
as
αυλή,
creepy
δεν
as
τους ανοίξει
possible.
κάποιος από μέσα, δηλαδή.
As Gary and
δεν
Amica make their
μπορούν
way out of the woods, a car starts to
να
approach them from the other
φτάσουν
side,
στα
and Gary starts to
κουδούνια.
get a little freaked out.
Στην πόρτα της
Fortunately-
πολυκατοικίας. Σε νέες πολυκατοικίες το βλέπω όλο και περισσότερο. Εγώ είχα μεγαλώσει με την πόρτα της αυλής να μην κλείνει καν. Κοίτα, νομίζω τα σπίτια αυτά δεν έχουν τα κουδούνια και απ' έξω. Νομίζω, έτσι δεν είναι. Γιατί το delivery τι θα κάνει. Εμένα αυτό είναι, άμα σου έρθει άλλος με την πίτσα, τι θα κάνει, πώς θα μπει να σου τη δώσει. Πρέπει να χτυπήσει απ' έξω, εγώ έτσι ξέρω. Ότι τέτοια σπίτια που λες που ξέρω έχουν απ' έξω τα κουδούνια.
They were able to make it back to the van without having to cross the car's path. As of this video's upload, there have been no further updates on the creepy discovery.
Ισχύει το έχω δει στο TikTok. Τι λέτε ρε παιδιά.
In 2018,
Εγώ δεν το
a
έχω
YouTuber
ακούσει.
named John
Πόσο
uploaded this
creepy.
video to his channel Lost Lakes, in which he posts about his backcountry camping adventures in Canada. The video was taken at around 3:30 a.m. at a remote location west of Chapleau, Ontario, where, according to John, there was no cell phone signal.
Will? Solo camper's nightmare right now.
Bill bro, thank you για το sub, thank you.
An
Thank you,
animal,
τα
some
μερσίτα
animal
beaucoup.
pacing around my tent.
Thank you.
It's the middle of the night. And then around 3:30.
Αυτό ήταν λίγο, εντάξει. Thank you. Thank you, Bill.
And 45 minutes later, it's still
Στο λιβάδι είναι έτσι αράχοβα.
pacing around out there.
Considering he was camping in a remote
Και δεν έχει
location
και
in the
τις
Black
κούκλες,
Bear
Άκη, πες
capital
και
of the
αυτό.
world, it's very likely that there was a bear or some other large animal outside the tent.
Ναι,
Although
υποστηρίξουμε και
it's
το
rare for
αγαπημένο
bears
μας
to
κόμμα.
attack campers, it has been known to
Thank you.
happen. Other animals such as moose or wildcats can also pose a threat to campers if they ever feel threatened or provoked, and in those cases, a feeble camping tent won't offer a lot of protection against an angry 600-pound animal. It's much more common for people to be harassed by other people than by animals, but in this case, the footsteps don't sound very human. To maintain sanity, John shows his viewers the things he brought along on his camping trip to protect himself against animals, which include a hatchet, bear spray, and an air horn. Near the end of the video, he mentions his car is right outside the tent, but he can't find his key and probably left it in the car. But in the end, he slept through the night safely. He never found out what exactly was walking around his tent that night.
Ρε, μισό λεπτάκι. Γιατί εγώ ξέρω για ένα χωριό, αλλά νόμιζα ότι αυτό που έχω στο μυαλό μου δεν είναι στην Ελλάδα. Είναι ένα χωριό που έχουν φύγει περισσότεροι κάτοικοι και κάποιος έχει φτιάξει κούκλες και είναι οι κάτοικοι που έχουν φύγει, έχουν πεθάνει, κάτι τέτοιο. Γιατί νόμιζα ότι αυτό είναι στο εξωτερικό. Ή τα έχω μπερδέψει. Μέσα εκείνο στην Ελλάδα το έχει κάνει σαν μπαρ και λένε το βράδυ ζωντανεύουν οι κούκλες και σπάνε τα μπουκάλια. Και σε ρωτάω εγώ, άντε, τα σπάνε το πρωί, πάνε και αγοράζουν νέα μπουκάλια. Τι, στο καλό. Όχι, δεν λέμε το ίδιο χωριό τελικά. Δεν ήταν αυτό το story του χωριού. Δεν το έχω ακούσει, αλλά ενδιαφέρον. Αυτό είναι marketing για το μπαρ. Ξεκάθαρα.
Most campers will say they're more afraid of running into ill-intentioned people rather than aggressive animals on their camping trips, and this footage is the perfect example of why. Love Sundays is a channel run by a man named Sean who uploads videos of his solo camping adventures in the UK. In a video he uploaded in September 2022, he shows what happened one night when he camped on the side of the road in Cornwall. Technically, he wasn't supposed to be camping there due to parking regulations, so he made every effort possible to make it seem less obvious that he would be spending the night on the side of the road. Before the sun sets, he goes into his van and starts making as little noise as possible to avoid unwanted attention. At around 9 p.m., he turns off the lights and goes to bed. Everything seems to be going just fine, but at around 2 a.m., Sean's night takes a pretty unsettling turn.
Χωρισμό διάβασα να τον κοναλάει. Για τον Ραφαήλ μιλάμε, όπου να είναι έρχεται και αυτό. Μόλις μάθει το μαράκι, τα καμώματά του. Έτσι είναι. Άμα είσαι τέτοιος σαν τον Ραφαήλ. Κάποιος προσπαθεί να μπει μέσα στο βαν του αυτού. Να το κλέψουνε, ναι.
It's not uncommon for solo campers to be asked to move somewhere else in the middle of the night, especially when you're parked somewhere where you're not supposed to be. But in this case, it's highly unlikely that this was a police officer or some other person with the authority to tell him to move, as in these cases, they would almost always knock first and announce themselves verbally. Once they have your attention, they'll ask you to leave, but they won't just walk up to a van on the side of the road and start trying the door handle without announcing their intention. It's much more likely that someone was trying to break into Sean's van. Luckily, whoever was trying to break in left after only a few seconds, and Sean wasn't bothered by them again. These kinds of encounters can be extremely disturbing, but luckily Sean woke up the next morning unharmed and was on his way to his next destination shortly after. On May 31st, 2016, at around 2 a.m., a Pasadena police officer was stopped at a red light when he noticed the vehicle directly in front of him had an expired registration sticker. Immediately after the light turned green, the officer switched on his lights to pull the vehicle over for a routine traffic stop. The dashcam footage shows the police officer shining his flashlight inside the vehicle and talking to the driver. Although nothing out of the ordinary seemed to be happening, the police officer would soon hear screaming and banging noises coming from the trunk of the car. When the officer conducting the traffic stop asked the man and woman in the vehicle about the noises, the driver immediately steps on the gas and speeds off. The officer reacts instantly and runs back to his cruiser to pursue the vehicle.
Ένα άλλο είχαμε δει. Ήταν άντρες μέσα και είχαν κλέψει το αυτοκίνητο και τον διοκτήτη τον είχαν στο πορπαγκάζ. Εδώ είναι άντρες και γυναίκα.
Seen frantically getting out of the vehicle and attempting to escape on foot, leaving behind the woman who later turned out to be his girlfriend in the passenger seat. The suspect doesn't get far though, as he falls on the ground before making it past his own car. After arresting the suspect, one of the officers on scene would use the keys that were still inside the suspect's vehicle to open the trunk of the car, where he would find a woman who later turned out to be the driver's ex-girlfriend cramped in the trunk of the vehicle. The victim later revealed that her ex-boyfriend Alexander Salas and his girlfriend Nicole Cruz had kidnapped her in order to scare her, and that the reason why Salas appears shirtless in the video was because he had tied his shirt around her head before putting her in the trunk.
Συγγνώμη, αυτός τα είχε με μια γυναίκα, χωρίσανε, εντάξει. Τα έφτιαξε με άλλη γυναίκα, εντάξει. Και κανόνισε με την καινούργια γυναίκα να πάνε να κλέψουν, να απαγάγουν την πρώην γυναίκα. Η καινούργια γυναίκα πώς συμφώνησε, τι τρέλα είναι αυτή, τι παίρνουνε όλοι.
The true details regarding Salas's motives for kidnapping his ex.
Για να την τρομάξουν απλά, σιγά με θέλουν απλά να την τρομάξουν.
Girlfriend remained unclear. After the events, Alexander Salas and Nicole Cruz were both charged with aggravated kidnapping. This dashcam footage was captured by a New Jersey police cruiser in the early hours of the morning of February 24th, 2023. A few minutes before this footage was recorded, several police officers and first responders had left their vehicles on a closed-off highway lane to attend to the victims of a crash involving an SUV that had spun off the road after the driver had lost control of the vehicle. What starts out as uneventful footage of a couple police cars stopped on the highway soon takes a terrifying turn. The dashcam video shows New Jersey State Trooper Stefan Lentini shining his flashlight at an oncoming heavy-duty tow truck to try and get the driver's attention. Alarmingly, the truck doesn't seem to be showing any signs of stopping or even moving to the next lane. As the 40,000-pound truck's headlights continue to approach the trooper and his car, Lentini is forced to run off the highway to avoid the oncoming truck.
Ρε, ο άνθρωπος του τσακ σώθηκε.
After the truck slams into 3 police cars and an ambulance, panicked State Trooper DeVry Mariano's voice can be heard as he calls desperately for his partner, serving as a chilling reminder of how tragically this crash could have ended. Amazingly enough, no one, not even the truck driver, was seriously injured during the incident. Although the 53-year-old tow truck driver was given a summons for the careless driving that resulted in 3 totaled police cars and a damaged ambulance, the factors leading up to the crash have not yet been revealed. Though many are suspicious of the driver falling asleep at the wheel or just not paying attention in general.
Μπορεί να τον πήρε ο ύπνος. Πήγαινε πολύ γρήγορα όμως.
In February 2014, South Carolina highway patrol officers were instructed to be on the lookout for an old green Cadillac that had allegedly been involved in a kidnapping in Virginia Beach. On February 25th, state troopers spotted a vehicle matching that exact description at a rest stop along I-95 in South Carolina. The footage captured by one of the police cars shows a trooper cautiously preparing to open the trunk of the Cadillac.
Ρε, και βρήκε μέσα. UK, τι UK, αστυνομικέ. Την βλέπεις εκεί μέσα στο πορπαγκάζ. UK, αράζεις, εντάξει. Βολεύτηκε.
Disturbingly, the victim later turned out to be the mother of 20-year-old Rogelio Lopez, the driver of the car.
Καλά τη μάνα του.
According to authorities, the woman sustained minor injuries when, after she attempted to escape the car after Rogelio stopped at a Dairy Queen, he reportedly jabbed her in the ribs and chest and put her back in the trunk of the car. The dashcam video shows how after helping the woman out of the car, another officer at the scene proceeds to interrogate the suspect.
Τι έκανε η μάνα του.
What's going on that made you want to do this and put her in the trunk?
Θα του συνδέσω τη μάνα μου, θα του κοίτα. Να μου σπάς τα νεύρα, κοίτα. Τι παθαίνουν οι άλλες μάνες. Δες πόσο καλή κόρη είμαι.
To plead insanity for his client, the suspect was jailed on kidnapping charges.
Δεν
The
μάθαμε
footage that
πολλά.
was captured by Officer Wayne Daniels' police car in Garden City, Georgia, is arguably one of the most notorious dashcam videos on the internet, as it
Ναι.
left viewers completely baffled for years and even appeared on a paranormal TV show.
Το χτίζει ωραία, με
In the
έψησε.
video, the officer attempts to pull over a white sedan for reckless and erratic driving near midnight on April 3rd, 1997. After fooling the officers into thinking he was going to pull over on the side of the road, the mysterious driver begins swerving chaotically before making a U-turn and disappearing into the night.
Τον έχασε. Τι κάμερες είναι αυτές, ρε.
Suddenly, the
Δεν
white
ξέρουμε τι
car
κάψαν
comes
η
into
κάμερα.
view again and attempts to leave the officers
Η μάνα μου
behind
είναι
by
σάικοπα.
maneuvering the white sedan into a
Δεν την
series of
κοιτάς καν
dangerous
στραβά.
swerves.
Ούτε καν να την κοιτάξεις στραβά δεν μπορείς. Δεν θες να μπλέξεις, είναι γκάνγκστερ. Α, είπε
Although the video
1997, δεν το
quality is
είδα.
understandably low, the driver in the white car would
Δεν το
reportedly
άκουσα.
reach speeds of over 115 miles per hour during the high-speed pursuit. Out of nowhere, the suspect turns onto a side road and reaches what looks like a dead end. And this is where things
την
get creepy.
πάτησε.
Instead of stopping, the white car makes a sharp turn to the left and disappears behind a metal fence, leaving the officers and the viewers of this viral video completely stunned.
Πες μην
One
τον
of the most
πιάσανε.
plausible theories on this shocking
Δεν τον
footage is
πιάσανε.
that the fence might not have been properly fixed to the ground, allowing the car to go straight through the fence. But this still leaves a lot of unanswered questions. To this day, the explanation for this eerie footage remains a mystery.
Συγγνώμη, πώς πέρασε μέσα από τα κάγκελα, όντως.
This
Μέσα από
dashcam
τέτοια.
footage comes from a police car in a suburb of Chicago.
Θα είχε
In
λίγο
the video
λυγίσει, λίγο
captured on May
κάτι.
10th, 2018, Sergeant Anthony Menino is seen putting himself and his car between a 2-year-old boy and oncoming traffic. Before the sergeant arrived at the scene, the small child was weaving in and out of a high-traffic lane, running dangerously close to the trucks and cars that were passing.
Άλλο ένα πράγμα που εγώ δεν περίμενα ότι γίνεται τόσο συχνά. Παιδιά, μικρά παιδιά, σε τόσο κεντρικούς δρόμους, πόσα βίντεο έχουμε δει. Τι γίνεται, και αυτό είναι κάτι που μπορεί να συμβεί, είναι συχνό φαινόμενο. Με όλα αυτά, ένα σαντουιτσάκι καντίνα τραβιέται. Είναι το τελευταίο βίντεο που βλέπουμε, γι' αυτό ανήνυντή σου.
By at high
Πάμε.
speeds. According to reports, Menino originally thought that the child was a stray dog, but after realizing it was actually a little boy running a few feet from traffic on Route 59, he immediately got out of the car and ran to the child's rescue.
31.
Είναι κλειστά. Ρε, τρόλ, είναι όντως κλειστά. Είναι Κυριακή. Είναι κλειστός Κυριακή. Γιατί με ταράζεις εδώ πέρα και με κάνεις να θέλω να φάω. Είναι κλειστά. Είναι κλειστά. Τι το προτείνεις τότε, αφού είναι κλειστά. Τρόλ, τρόλ. Καλό βράδυ από μένα, δουλεύεις σεξ. Bye bye, απνίτη. Καλή νύχτα, καλή ξεκούραση.
Trying to corral a 1-year-old boy running across 59, just north of North.
Τι είναι, πώς περπατάνε τα παιδιά, πού πάει!
Hey! Come here!
Παραλίγο να βγει κι εγώ, σφιχθεί η καρδιά μου. Παραλίγο να βγει στον δρόμο.
Okay. You're okay.
Τα παιδιά δεν την έχουν πολύ παράξενα με τα μικρά τους πόδια.
I have him. You're gonna have to try to find his parents. How you doing? What's your name? Yeah, please put pieces together. We're in front of the old American sale. Hold on, hold on, hold on.
Videos like this one raise an obvious and very concerning question. Where were this child's parents? Fortunately, in this case, the boy's mother showed up a few minutes later, understandably emotional about the incident. It was later discovered that the family lived only 2 blocks away from the spot where Menino found the child, and that the boy had run away from his mother in the blink of an eye. Had Sergeant Menino not been there at that exact moment, there is no telling what could have happened to the little boy.
Πήγε βόλτα, έφυγε από το σπίτι του και πάει, προχωράει.
This unsettling dashcam footage shows the police's
Σε αυτή την ηλικία
response
δεν
to a
καταλαβαίνουν
report of
καθόλου,
two
δε.
people in clown costumes harassing civilians and chasing after cars in the early morning hours.
Μου είχε δημιουργηθεί φόβος. Υπήρχε μια περίοδος που όλο βγαίνουν τέτοια βιντεάκια που οι άνθρωποι ντυνόντουσαν κλόουν και τρομάζαν ο κόσμο, είχαν επιτεθεί και σε πολλούς τους κλέβανε, κάνανε, ράνανε. Και εκείνη την περίοδο μου είχε δημιουργηθεί φόβος με τους κλόουν. Κρύπη πάρα πολύ αυτό.
Of October 7th, 2016 in Menasha, Wisconsin. The incident was reported amid the disturbing surge of creepy clown sightings in various locations worldwide, in which people dressed up as clowns would sometimes even go as far as threatening innocent passers-by with weapons. In this video, when the officer asked them to show him their hands to make sure they aren't carrying any weapons, the clowns comply by slowly and creepily bringing their hands out to their sides, standing still and staring at the officer.
Δες τους εκεί. Κρύπη.
Guys, make sure to keep your hands where we can see them, alright?
Alright, 217 down there. 276.
Why don't you guys come up to this barrier right here? Put your butts against it.
Although this footage looks innocent enough when compared to some of the other clown sightings that were reported that same
Φαίνονται
month,
και αυτοί
there is more to
βαρεμένοι.
the story than meets the eye.
Μόνο ο τρόπος που κουνάνε τα
It
χέρια τους
turns
και αυτά
out the
φαίνονται
two clowns are being
βαρεμένοι.
driven around by a
Κρύπουλες.
26-year-old woman who was actually the wife of one of the clowns. Shockingly, it was discovered that the couple had left their 4-year-old home alone for several hours in order to participate in this prank. After the parents were referred to court on charges of child neglect, the child's mother was detained at
Τετράχρονο
Winnebago
παιδί το
County
άφησε
Jail
σπίτι
as a
αυτή
probation
για να
member.
πάνε να παίξουν
The
κλόουν.
other clown was let off with a warning.